This is Ray.
This is Andy.
And this is FDS Local Sports.
How's it going, Ray?
Andy, it's been quite a week.
It's been a week
of local football sports here in the Maritimes.
There's a lot going on. The phone's been buzzing today.
Phone's been buzzing.
Notifications, emails, messages. There's a lot happening.
Lots going on.
Yep.
Lots of messages on our website. I spent a good portion of my day making phone calls, sending emails, trying to get a hold of somebody with the MBIAA, but we'll talk about that a little later in the show.
Let's do that. All right.
Now, Andy, just so you know, this was a weird week of football. There were some homecoming games that were taking place.
Yep.
Plus, you had the annual Acadie Bowl between Matthew Martin and Odyssey.
Yep.
That game took place on Thursday night. And yours truly was the head referee in that game.
Okay. How'd it go?
It went great. I told the boys right off the bat, I said, boys, for this Acadie Bowl tonight, you could not ask for a more English official to ref this game tonight.
Okay.
So I said, if you have any questions, you can ask them in French, and I will do my best to answer those questions for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Luckily, they were all able to speak English to me. It was all good.
There you go. Yeah. Otherwise, that would have been a big barrier.
It was a great night for football, Andy. The weather was kind of crisp. It was It was a little crisp and cool. I made the white hat always decides if you're going short sleeves, long sleeves. I decided we were going short sleeves that night. I don't know if it was a fan favorite choice amongst my crew, but that's what we did. We went short sleeves, and I told the boys to run hard.
All right.
And these kids, before the game, I have my captain's meeting. And I told my captains in the meeting, I said, when this whistle blows, it's your responsibility to get those players back off the ball, back in their huddles so we can get to the next play. I don't want to be throwing flags for objectionable conduct or unnecessary roughness after the whistle.
Yep.
If I have to throw those flags, I'm coming to see you guys. And you know what? These captains did a fantastic job in this football game.
Good.
They really helped get guys out of the pile, got their teams moving. We had very little issues. I think we had one flag in the game for unnecessary roughness, and it was a kid that the helmet just got up a little bit. It ended up being helmet to helmet.
Okay.
Outside that, other than a few offsides here and there was no flags in this game. It was a really good football game.
Okay.
Odyssey came out very strong in this game, Andy. Matthew Offrey, Caleb Fogarty, Brandon Melanson, Gabriel Gagne, and Devin Niles scored the touchdowns for Odyssey. They won this game 38-0. There was a huge crowd there, and I have to tell you, the crowd was unbelievable. Good. It was loud.
Yep.
Devin Niles is an outstanding quarterback.
He was the young fella that was out for a little while with injury, right? And then he returned. Yep.
This kid here, look out for him at the next level. Okay. He has the size. He's got the arm strength. He's got the that sense in the quarterback. He's here in the huddle. You can tell this kid's a leader.
Good.
Watch out for them this year, but watch out for him at the next level. I am giving an MVP award out in this game.
Okay.
You know who it's going to?
Better not be yourself, Ray.
Much deserved. But the MVP in this game goes to the Matthew Martin crowd.
Okay.
Because even when this game was 30-0, 39-0, they didn't stop cheering. And I mean, you would have easily, if we were sitting here in our FDS studio recording right now, you would have heard them clear as day.
Wow.
Clear as day. So great job to the Matthew Martin crowd. It was awesome being on the field. I couldn't even hear the whistles downfield. That's how loud it was.
There you go.
There you go. All right, let's talk about some other games. Riverview High took on St. John High down in St. John. Riverview wins this game 31-2, Andy.
Ooh. Okay.
Simons was taking on KV. KV wins this game big. Quarterback Tim Crawford, 110 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Jack Dupuis, 135 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Here's a good one. Falcon Appleby. He had one receiving touchdown. It was his first of the season.
Nice.
And the defense was led by Ryan Kilpatrick, Ethan Ross, Jake Lynch, and Liam Murray finished it off with a pick 6.
Nice.
So great job by KB.
game.
Again, they won this game big. I tell you the score, but look what I wrote down, Andy.
That is definitely not the score. We'll find that for you in a few moments here, guys.
I wrote down 0-0.
0-0.
I don't know how that happened.
There it is. Yeah,
All right.
That's great.
Harrison Tremble. They were taking on Bernice McNaughton at Bernice McNaughton, and this was the new homecoming game here in Greater Moncton. Jeannie B popped over for the game.
She was there.
My daughter was there as well, of course. Nikki Dunn, grade 12, Bernice McNaughton. She's going to be there. Huge crowd. I guess the crowd was really good. Jeannie says it was loud. It felt like homecomings of the days in the past. Really great game. Lots of volunteers. They had food booths and stuff like that. And I guess the volunteers were led by one and only Sean Foster.
Sean Foster.
Sean Foster.
Okay.
It's the first time we're talking about Sean Foster versus Seth Foster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was Seth's spot in all of this? Just
he's running around in that
motivating
green
the crowd and
He's
that
got
crazy
the amp and the whole. I mean, this kid is
Yeah.
he's pumping up the crowd. That's why it was so loud.
Exactly.
Listen, there's 2 Bernice McNaughton kids that want to be on this show, Andy.
Okay.
One of the kids' name is Zach Layden.
Zach Layden.
And I keep telling Zach, we're going to get you on. This was going to be your week to talk about homecoming. And with all the news that came up with Moncton High and Tantramar that we have to get in tonight, we're going to get to you. I'm going to give you a show tonight, and let's set up a time. We'll have a quick interview with you, and you can tell us about what's going on at Bernice McNaughton.
Sounds good.
St. Max was taking.
You said there were 2 kids. Who's the other kid?
I forget the kid's name, but he's a good friend of Zach's. He's a good friend of Zach.
I figured that was going to happen.
He's a football player. I'll tell you that.
I saw a bus and I just kind of felt like throwing you under it. All right, let's move on. Let's go.
St. Max was taking on the Casters. Casters come out swinging again, 35 to 6. Andy,
there we go.
We know what 2 players there had a big game.
Yes, we do.
And wait till you hear this score, Andy. You're going to love this one because guess who's back on top of, finally getting a W this week?
Who's this?
St. Stephen.
There we go.
14-13 over Omukto.
Wow.
St. Stephen has a touchdown by Will McLeod and on a 1-yard run, and they have a player. His name is Vinces Shellman.
Sure.
He's the man of mystery. He's a German student attending St. Stephen.
Nice.
And he had a 35-yard punt return touchdown.
Wow.
So it's 14-0 at the half. And in the fourth quarter, the Blues make a comeback. Okay? Mm-hmm. They pop up 2 touchdowns. On the second touchdown, the Blues decide to go for 2 to go for the win.
Wow.
Okay? On the first attempt, there was a pass interference call on our German man of mystery student.
Okay.
Put the ball at the 1-yard line.
Okay.
The quarterback goes for a sneak on the convert, and defensive tackle Austin Young busts through the line, holds him before the line of scrimmage. St. Stephen takes the lead 14-13.
Or they keep the lead.
Or they keep the lead 14-13. Omukto gets one more drive, and Dylan Day, who we've spoke about millions of times, he intercepts the ball to end the game.
Wow.
There you go.
Big win.
Big win by St. Stephen. Congratulations to Coach Grant and all the Spartans down in St. Stephen.
Yep.
Monday night. We had Monday night football in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
On Friday night, we had a shortage of football officials. Okay, me and Fowler, we were down in Acadia. For the AUS game.
Yep.
So they had to have a game moved in the schedule. There was a couple games moved to Saturday, but this particular game was moved to Friday or to Monday night. Leo Hayes was down taking on FHS. I kept getting updates through the game of Coach Drysdale, and it sounds very exciting. Fredericton came out on top of this game, Andy, 15-13 over Leo Hayes.
Wow.
So there's crazy things going on in the standings, and I'll tell you why it gets crazy in a second. But before we do that, we got to pop over to Andy for a 9-man update.
Let's do it. We had some one-sided scores in 9-man again this week. I'll start with Sussex visiting Hampton. Sussex came out of there with a victory, 39-0, Ray. Anthony McLean and Noah Forgraves each had a touchdown, and Jason Beach and Owen Dunfield had 2 touchdowns apiece. So
wow, good
very
for Dunfield.
Dominating performance. On to another dominating performance. Rothsay was visiting Harborview. They come out 43-6 with the victory. Quinn LeBlanc had 2 rushing touchdowns. Brad Gallant had 3 rushing touchdowns. Ethan Finnegan had a passing touchdown to Braylon Stanley, and on defense, Ben Young had 5 sacks.
Wow!
So it was a big game. Now, on to the main event, the third annual or fourth annual. I'm not third annual.
I think it's third.
The River Bowl.
The River Bowl
Taking place, the very first game ever played at James M. Hill's new field in
How was that?
Chatham. So I was going up for the game. I had to go up early on that day because I had a bunch of other errands to run around in the Miramichi area. So the game was starting at 1. They had festivities going on.
What kind of errands would you have to do in the Miramichi?
Going to Maple Glen to pick up things at my parents.
Okay, there you go.
You're right. As you know, I've been having some roof trouble at the cottage.
Yeah.
And I don't have a ladder that can really do the job, but someone does.
So Dad does.
Yeah.
Good job, Dad.
Now, on my way back, I stopped at the game, or I stopped at the new field. Great little location for them. I was kind of wondering why they weren't using that the whole time, but they need to do some landscaping in the area to make it a regulation-sized football field.
Okay.
But it's right behind the Lord Beaverbrook Arena, so when you're driving up to Miramichi, as soon as you come around that corner, when you pass the Tims and all that, you see the big tower with the clover on it. Whatever, it's right there. So it's
right
easy
there.
to find. Great location. But really, nothing was going on yet. There was a bunch of other festivities happening. So I'm like, I'm going to take this opportunity to fly back to my parents. By the way, it's absolutely pouring. And I was having flashbacks of our trip to PEI to see the Mariners that time.
The cold rain.
Go back to my parents. I get everything loaded up. I come back out. It's pouring even more. I stop in. I kind of wander out towards the field for a little bit. I'm already soaked. So I turned around and I left. Because I had some things to deal with at the cottage. That said...
You're a Miramichi. Where's your rain suit?
Well, I was ill-prepared, Ray.
Oh,
ill-prepared.
Man.
That said, I talked to the coaches, and Ray, I'm glad... As a Miramichi Valley High grad, I'm glad I wasn't at this game. It was a dominating performance for the Tommies. The Tommies won this game 38-0.
Whoa!
The Coach Moore challenged his offensive line, said, if you guys play well, we win this game. And they were the most valuable players of the Tommies. Ty Manuel, Will Woods, Brad Robinson all had big games rushing. Braden McDonald had over 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. He was the offensive MVP. Josh Jardine, not related. There's a lot of us up there, right?
There's a lot of Jardines up there.
He had a pick 6, several tackles. He turned out to be the River Bowl MVP. The whole defense deserved a shout-out, and that outstanding offensive line. So shout-out to Tanner, Sean, AJ, Jacob, Aaron, and Damien. Now, I talked to Coach Rich, and I asked about Miramichi Valley's performance, and I will abbreviate the entire message with one word. Maybe it's 2. Quicksand.
Quicksand?
Quicksand.
Oh, boy.
Things started going wrong. They started sinking, and they never got their necks above the sand. So
I thought you were going to tell me the field was quicksand.
No, good. It could have been that as well. No, his words, not mine. Things did not go well for Miramichi Valley on this particular day.
Okay.
So I'm glad I missed
All
the
right.
game.
Well, there you go. The old River Bowl. Next year,
we're coming up.
For the 4th annual,
yeah,
FDS will be there, and maybe, just maybe, I'll be in the crew. Maybe it'll be the Downs box for the game.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Andy, we got one more game to talk about. This was a big game. Tantramar High was visiting Moncton High on Friday night.
Yep.
But to kick off the festivities, the NBIAA decided they were going to stop by Tantramar's practice at 5 o'clock on Thursday night before the game. Mm-hmm. And they announced that Tantramar was going to be docked 3 wins.
Okay.
Or 3 wins would be reversed due to an ineligible player that was playing for their team.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Not only that, But Scott O'Neill, head coach Scott O'Neill, was going to be suspended for one game prior, finding that out Thursday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So at 8 o'clock the next morning, the team was pulled into the gym by the principal and the coach. Mm-hmm. And at that point, they were told the news. The kid that is in question was told he was not going to be able to play the rest of the year.
Yep.
And Coach O'Neill advised that he was going to be, for the first time in many years, watching the Tantramar Titans from the stands versus on the field.
There you go.
Tough news for the Titans.
Very tough news. And what a time to get it, too, at Thursday evening in practice. So, yeah.
So, listen, there's 2 kids from Moncton High. We're going to talk about them in a second, too. This is a huge story in the season because Tantramar was 4-0 heading into this game. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, they're 1-3.
And I assume they're 1-3 because the ineligible player did not play in one of these games.
I can't answer.
We can't get that answer.
I haven't been able to get that.
We're going to assume
that
so.
Exact detail, but I'm going to assume so.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is Jeannie B was at this game for warm-ups, and she watched the first part of this game before going over to the homecoming at Bernice McNaughton. She told me she has never seen a team so focused during warm-ups that Tantramar came to play this game.
Yep.
The focus that they had heading into this game and the motivation they had heading into this game, it was going to be really tough to stop them.
Yeah.
And listen, right off the bat, his son, Owen O'Neill, took the team on his back and put up 4 touchdowns himself that night with over 200 yards on the ground. Okay?
Yep.
Colby Tower notched the other touchdown for the Titans. Mm-hmm. They win this game 35-0.
Statement. There you go.
Now, First Down Sports, we were made aware of this news late Friday evening. As I mentioned, I was working the Acadia game. When I got off the field, I turned on my phone and beep, 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 beep,
blowing
boop,
up.
boop, 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 all these different noises. I had tons of messages telling me what they'd heard, and there was all kinds of rumors about what was happening on with Tantramar, right? We've done our research. We've reached out to coaching staffs. We reached out to people in the football community to find out what was going on, and we just recently wrote an article called Let the Kids Play.
Yeah.
And you can find that up at our website, firstdownsportspodcast.com. Facebook, you can find it all over the place. The article's been shared like 250 times, Andy. If you don't run into it on Facebook, you're following the wrong people. That's basically what I got to tell you. But listen, we did our research on this. When we wrote the article, we never heard from the MBIAA at the time because it was over the weekend.
Right.
Allison Ouellette, the executive director of the MBIA, I did get in touch with her finally by email today.
Yep.
No phone calls, email exchanges only.
Yep.
All I can tell you, she tells me my biggest concern with the fact these kids can't play, A, is they can't play, but B is this whole 12-month rule.
Yeah.
You have to wait 12 months before you can play again. Mm-hmm. That makes no sense to me. You got 4 years of high school. How can we tell a kid they can't play football for a full year?
Right.
Makes 0 sense to me. 0 cents. She tells me on that note that the transfer rule changed in 2018. It was voted for and passed by the MBIA membership.
Yep.
And this rule was very similar to rules that have been put in place across Canada.
Yeah, and I believe that. I think that's completely true. I understand that the MBIA and any sort of, I guess, governing body over something like this would want to have rules in place that they can uphold these things without having to review everything case by case. You don't want to, they don't have the people required to do that. So we totally get it. When we put this article together, I was able to review the handbook from the NBIAA and read the player eligibility section, and correct, they were not eligible. The two young men that we haven't talked about yet from Moncton High that were subject to a news story, and the young man in Tantramar, they weren't. According to the rule, they were not eligible. That's the last thing I was disputing. I just think it's unfortunate, and I don't like the rule. And that was the message here. Is the 12 months is definitely excessive, but I do understand that it is similar to everywhere else. And when you want a one-size-fits-all rule like this that has all of the various variables defined, so that you don't have to review everything at a case-by-case basis. And I just wish we could find a better way where we could let more kids play. Let them all play.
Well, all I can tell you is, as a football official, my number one job when I step on the field, Andy, is the protection and safety of the players. Mm-hmm. That's my number one job as a football official. And as an off-field official, I still consider my number one job is the safety and protection of players. And I'm going to keep pushing members of the NBIAA and schools that agree with this policy, how stupid this policy is, because how can we tell high school kids that, I mean, a lot of times it's not their decision on where they're living or their circumstances.
They're not in control of that. So
how can we tell these kids that they can't play football? And if you go to Salisbury High School, or you go to Amherst High School, or any or PEI high schools where there's no football, and you want to play football, you should have the opportunity to go play football for another school. That's how it worked at my high school when we were kids. Our high school didn't have high school or football. You could go play. You could stay at high school at our school, but go to another high school and play. The fact that these adults are putting these rules in, affecting these kids, I say shame on the NBIA. And I want to call out Ethan Hackman, Tyler Newson, and they're from Moncton High, and Aiden Goffrey from Tantramar. You three boys, keep putting up the fight. I want to see you on the football field in the very near future.
Yep. All right. And I'm glad the rules are at least going to let the two young men from PEI play next season.
Yeah.
It's a shame that it came to this, but it is what it is. So, all we can do to get the rule changed is they need to hear from everybody. Keep it coming.
Sharing that article. Keep voicing your opinion. Keep pushing this topic. The NBIA has to address this, and I'll do my part in staying on this topic as well.
And the only other thing that I would throw out is, if the rule must stay, come up with a way to figure out whether the rule is going to be fully enforced before the season starts.
Exactly.
Because finding out something like this in week 5 of the season, I mean, I get it. It takes time to review certain things. I totally get that. At the very least, come up with a way so that whatever your roster is that gets signed off to start on week 1 is your roster, and nobody can take it away from you.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it, folks. # let the kids play. Keep pushing the message.
Talk to you guys next week.